We are previewing Manchester United's next match against Bournemouth at home. Ooh, it's the holiday season. The Cherries are coming up to Manchester for a big match in the Premier League. Ruben Amorim's men need to start picking up some more points. We had a big win last weekend against the shitty Blues at the Empty-Head. But this is what they call a trap game, my friends. Bournemouth are not your grandparents' Bournemouth, sir. They've been playing some very good football under their Basque manager, and they're going to be looking to get a big scalp. Manchester United, they know that, it's not the same place that it used to be a decade ago. So it's a big match for Manchester United. It's a big match for Ruben Amorim, and it's a big match for the players. I think this point, especially after the last two games, the Spurs disappointment, what a shit show that was, and the City exciting result that was at the end of the game with Ahmad having such a huge impact to win it for us. I think he knows who basically his best 11 is. I think we're going to see close to that on Bournemouth because right now the next EPL game is, it's always the next game is the most important one, but the next EPL game, this manager knows it's all about the Premier League. That's what he wants to win. This game is huge. We got to be beating Bournemouth because, they're a rival for the Europa League, sir, at the moment in sixth place. How you feeling about this match?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're playing for keeps. This is a big one. This is a big game for Ruben Amorim. He knows his best team, and he's going to play his best team. That's why we saw a lot of rotation. He was thinking about Bournemouth, and I think that's right because we got to chip up that table fast, and we're only, 3 points behind them at the moment. 16 games in, they have 25 points. We have 22, but that gap is to sixth place. So that's what 3 points means to this team right now, and we have to take it to them. Despite Bournemouth being in good form, they have a lot of good players, sir. Despite getting rid of Solanke, they're still coming through, and they're going to be a tricky team. We are playing at home, and like I said, this is going to be a slugfest. United have to defend well. Got to be organized. No more bad giveaways. Onana, he's going to be starting. Sideburns Bayindir is going to be on the bench.
Leave the poor guy alone.
I'm looking at that back line. I'm looking for us to play a strong team. We're going to see Harry Magoo doing some pass pro in there. And let's take it to him. I'm excited for this game.
No, 100%. I mean, this is the type of game Manchester United has to be winning. And I don't want to say winning convincingly, but they have to be winning and deservedly winning, in the sense of I'm not saying we did it against City, but we had some fortune at the end, and we took our fortune, and we got a big one. But we need to go out there and dominate possession. We need to out-XG them, outshoot them, and all those things, and limit the damages, because they're a very direct team. They're very fast. They're good on the ball, and they are super dangerous in the counter. So he's going to go out with his best 11. United, I think this is when the mentality starts to show up. It's you have to be able to do 90 minutes. We have not been able to do that in general, especially under this manager, but in general over the last few years. And this is going to take a full effort from all the lads. I'm excited for this game. It's the holiday season fully. We're going to be here in 12 Cantonas at Old Trafford. I think the voice is beginning to return to the home fans. I think they're getting behind this new manager in a major way. Yeah, but you got to feed, exactly. You got to feed the fans. You got to feed the plebeians. They want red meat. The pod wants red meat. We want to see blood. We want to see goals. And I can't wait because I think we're going to see some goals. I want to see Ahmad just tearing shit up. And I don't even know. It's who's going to, is it Hoyland's job or is it Xerxes up front or is it somebody else? I don't even know, sir. Who are we going to have in that 11?
Quick PSA for the podcast. You like the American Red Devils, check out our YouTube channel. We just crossed the 1K subscriber line. We launched the channel properly this summer. Thank you for everyone who subscribed and backed us. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button below, like and comment. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, go over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, help spread the Muppet Take. We're trying to reach all the best Manchester United fans in all the land. And if you want to go the extra mile beyond YouTube, liking, subscribing, sir, helping us with the algo, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. We do a behind-the-scenes episode every single month. Our Patreon supporters get tons of benefits, and they enabled us to do the YouTube thing in the first place. A big shout-out to all of our Patreon subscribers. You guys are the real MVPs. Also, check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. We got merch. We got shirts. We got scarves. We got hats. We got the dead man walking Eric Ten Hag's Red Army scarf, sir. I got to put that on discount. But we got Viva Garnacho. What a scarf, sir. Support him. He needs your support because he was bluffing. Got in trouble with the manager. He needs you to buy an American Red Devil scarf. But Sir, you also got our
Speaking of
website. Speaking of bluffers, you got articles about bluffers, AmericanDoubles.com. Great blog content. Tell us about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews and 5-star reviews of the American Devils podcast. Wherever you listen, it's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically by other top Manchester United Muppets like yourself, and even better, we're giving away free merch. All you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot of that review to americandoubles@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. They've been great reviews. I've been sending out lots of merch. Keep them coming in, sir. Let's get into that game. Bournemouth, Cherries at Old Trafford. Can't wait. Let's go.
All right. You ready to break it down?
We got Sabes. Let's do it. Woo! Dun. Sorry. Fired up. I'm feeling the light again at Manchester United. Before it was the darkness under Eric Ten Hag, and I think the light is starting to return to Old Trafford. Hope has returned. Hope is back on the menu, baby.
All right. That's right. We're talking Bournemouth versus Manchester United, December 22nd, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be playing at home, Old Trafford. Not too shabby, sir. They're probably going to tear it down.
Eventually.
Eventually
it will be torn down.
They're probably going to tear it down. Tell me about the weather. What do we got?
So it's going to be mid-40s, gusty, and a chance of rain. So just wonderful.
70% chance of rain.
70% chance of rain. Looks like they upticked the rain since I did the preview. So it's going to be a wet day in Manchester for football, but that should suit the home team well. We should be used to it at this point. And you know what? Who doesn't like a good old grudge match in the mud, sir?
3:52 sunset, Manchester, dark and rainy. Let's go.
Let's go. Scran watch. Let's get the vinegar out. We're going to Wright's Fish and Chip Shop. It's a classic. It's in downtown Manchester. It's supposed to be one of the best spots around for the fried goodness that is tan-on-tan action with fish and chips. Sir, look at that.
I need the gravy on the chips. Sir. What is this?
Sir, the gravy's a step too far.
Is
for
this
me.
chicken nuggets?
No, I don't think so. I think that's shrimp, something that'll get you sick. Sir. Keep going. That's too much. Keep going. More. That's gross. I don't know what that is. That sauce? What sauce is that? That's some kind of English thing they like. Use ketchup?
Okay, I got a question for you.
I like the vinegar. But
I got a question for you.
Please go. Next photo.
How is it that French fries and gravy on top of them is not an American thing? You know, that's a
Canadian thing. The Canadians like their gravy, French fries,
that's like poutine.
Yeah,
but maybe. It's originally a British thing. Didn't translate to America. Gravy on fries. I don't know why we don't have it. Is that too much gravy? Can you have too much gravy on your fries?
I just don't like the look of that gravy. I think that's just brown sauce that came out of a bottle.
But
gravy on fries, I can get behind. Sir, tell us about Bournemouth. Tell us about the Cherries. AFC Bournemouth. Boscombe.
Formed in 1899 as Boscombe, the club adopted their current name in 1971. What type of club changes their name after 80 years? Bournemouth, nicknamed the Cherries, commonly referred to as Bournemouth, play their home games at Dean's Court. Bournemouth entered administration for a second time and were relegated back to League Two in 2008. But they ended the year appointing Eddie Howe as manager. Under Howe's stewardship, obviously he's coaching Newcastle now. They won 3 promotions in 6 years to win a place in the first tier of English football. They would get relegated, and then they would come back. So Eddie Howe would cost him his job, took some time off. Now he's back in Newcastle, but Bournemouth are rising up the table and currently sit 6th. Last year they finished 12th. They sold Solanke, and they're doing even better. And clubs that sell good players and play better the next season, something's gone right at those clubs. They got good recruitment. They got good coaching. Man, I wish that could be Manchester United.
One day, my friend. One day we will have that. You know what I want to do? We should bring back Boscombe FC, bro. Why would they change the name? That's an incredible name. But you're absolutely right. They bounced out of the league. They came back in, and now they seem to be getting it right in terms of recruitment, in terms of the manager they brought in. Let's get into that manager,
South Coast Club, you know.
Andoni Iraola, sir, let's get into him. He's a 52-year-old, I believe, Basque coach, 42-year-old, helped get Rayo Vallecano promoted before joining Bournemouth in the summer of 2023. So he's only been around the club for a little bit, but he has had great success at the club. Like you mentioned, he's in 6th place. He has 3 big tenets in the way he likes to do his tactics. One of which, high pressure, right? Very, very aggressive. So we're going to see that certainly on the weekend. Low press in terms of how they like to defend. He likes to use a 1-4-4-2 formation. and kind of tighten up that midfield, and then direct speed, which if you've ever seen Bournemouth play, they play very, very direct. This will be big on the counter, so they're going to look to make United very uncomfortable passing out the back. They're going to press us. They're going to press us, and if we could pass through that, we'll be able to get behind their back line. But what kind of metal does the back three have? Does Onana have? We need the gaffes to stop, because this is a game where a gaff would be very costly indeed.
You want to break down their signings? Evan Nielsen, Brazilian from Porto, playing pretty well.
Yeah, they were obviously replacing Solanke, so that was kind of the big signing they had to find a new one for, a new center forward, of course. So they did sign Evan Nilsson. I can't even say that. Evan Nilsson?
It's Evan Nilsson.
Evan Nilsson. Yes, from Porto. He's doing well, 37 million pounds.
Kepa.
Right winger Julian Araujo, who is an American, apparently, Mexican-American. So keep your eye on that guy. But yeah, so I don't know a lot of these players. There you go.
Don't know him.
Don't know him.
Don't care.
Don't
like him.
Don't want to know him. How's the record recently?
Coming into this game, Brentford beat them 3-2. They lost to Brighton 2-1. Beat Wolves 4-2. They did beat Tottenham 1-0. That's an interesting game. And they beat Ipswich Town 2-1, who we drew. So we lost to Tottenham. We drew Ipswich. They drew West Ham. They're playing United. This one is nervy. It's going to be a tough test for Manchester United. If I'm being honest, I think Bournemouth might have us. Their lifetime, we've won 14, drawn 4, lost 4, but they are in good form at the moment, and that makes me a little nervous. Players to watch. What do you got?
The Dutchman, Justin Kluivert, he has been playing very well. He's a left winger. He's got a bunch of goals from this season. I think he's got 5 goals and a handful of assists as well. So he is going to be playing off the right side, and he's a dangerous player. We have to keep an eye on him, especially the low. He's looked very, very vulnerable in that left wing-back position. That's where he's been favored, with obviously Maz being the standout as his right wing-back if Ahmad isn't playing there. So this is a position to watch, because he's going to be coming at us, and United's a little vulnerable on the left. We're not as strong as we used to be, especially with Shaw nowhere to be found.
And they're playing the 4-2-3-1 Kirkes that we are linked to. He scored against Wolves, left back who could be a top left wing back for Ruben Amorim. I really think that that's a player we wanted to be scouting during this game. And obviously Evan Nilsson and was it Semedo, I think he's injured at the moment.
He's a player.
He didn't feature, but he's also another great player. So look, Bournemouth is a high-pressing, hard-working, scrappy team. They got lots of talent. Lots of teams are going to be buying these players, and they're coming into our house, and they're going to, they're going to run real hard. We got to match them, and our defense has to be very well organized to handle it, because this is going to be end-to-end stuff at Old Trafford, and I have a feeling we might let in a few goals. Ref watch. Who do we got?
Sir, it is Craig Pawson, one of the worst in the games. He has an infamous record, and he was one of the refs that got tangled up in the whole, hey, I'm working abroad, by the way, weekend off, international break, and I'm doing, pickup work for the UAE. So Craig Pawson, he's made a meal of a bunch of calls, a bunch of big Liverpool calls, a bunch of calls against us a couple years back. So hopefully the best refs are the refs that you don't notice. It's like, just let the guys play, and the less you do, the better. I think do less is kind of the refereeing tactic. The less things you can screw up, the more times you blow your whistle, the more likely you are to slow the game down and just play into the team's hands of trying to change the direction or slow the game down, which I feel like happens too often.
Yeah, and for me, the ref watch also includes VAR, which has been, in a very strange way, silent on all fronts. It's true.
It's true.
It went from horrid calls early in the season to then they just basically said don't intervene, whatever the ref calls, just don't change it ever. And
no, it that's used to, they stopped making calls in the last month. Basically.
It's so weird
because that cocaine video.
No,
basically,
no, it's literally fans. It's kind of like they change it and then they don't say anything. It's because behind closed doors are
by the way.
All right, we're bottling it, so they're just don't make any more VAR calls. VAR does not. They're basically don't intervene unless it's egregious, right? I mean, they've totally changed their tune. And that's why the Højlund penalty against City, that should have been a VAR call. They didn't do anything. So it's like they're just going with as called on the field and then anything crazy, which I'm okay with. Which I agree with. But let's just hope VAR doesn't do some crazy intervention because they were bottling it pretty hard. As far as United starting 11, against City, this is what I would consider our strongest team. Onana and net, Martinez, Magoo, Delit back 3, Dalot at left wing back, Ugarte, Bruno midfield 2, Maz right wing back, and then the front 3 of Mount, Højlund, and Diallo. Obviously, Mount's injured. He's got to replace him. Garnacho comes to mind as long as he trains very well. What do you make of this 11? Who would you start against Bournemouth?
I really like that back 3. I know Martinez was not good against Spurs, but I think he was fantastic against City. And I thought the back 3 was awesome. I thought they played really well together. I thought Maguire was like the anchor, and I think he can be that again. So my only making one sub, I'm going to just obviously hook Mount because he's injured. I'm going to push Bruno up to the front 3. I'm going to put Kobe Mainoo next to Ugarte. I think that's basically our strongest 11 at the moment. That's what I'm going with, sir. What are you thinking about 11 for our big match against the Cherries on the weekend?
The one thing I would comment on that change that you made is Bruno has looked the best for United playing in the 2. With the team has looked the best with him playing in that position. I do agree that Bruno should be higher up the pitch, but like you saw today, right? We conceded 3. When Bruno was in there against City, we were arguably the best we've ever been. And so like I think against a Bournemouth, you have to play him there. And then I don't think Amarin will start Garnacho. Like no, he's a tough SOB. And Garnacho's
I'm not sure he should.
But so here's the thing. On the left wing, who is it? It's Rashford. It's Garnacho. Right. Those are left wingers.
I know.
Rashford says he wants to leave the club. Garnacho has definitely been bluffing. I don't know what's been going on behind the scenes, but I know Amram won't play him. So he might do that Mainoo switch up that you suggested. But the best thing for the team is keep Bruno in there. And you could put like, it's just, you're kind of scrapping when it comes to the attack. You could put Xerxes in the front 3.
I think it's got to be. I think you made a good point in one regard, which is like the team plays better with him in the 2, but he creates so much more. That he created so much against Spurs.
Didn't score though.
I'm not saying we didn't, but he created a shit ton of like very good chances that nobody was at the end of. So I think what you want to do in this game is win and try and win, and maybe that's by putting him in the 2, but he's effective in the front 3, sir. I mean, Xerxes, Højlund, then you have nothing to pull off the bench other than fucking Anthony and I guess Garnacho.
Effective. I mean, he's looked the best. He hasn't had the best half of a season. Like I'm being honest, and the best he's looked for United and this team is in the 2, which is a surprise for me. I'm very surprised, and it's because he can dictate play, and that's what we need in that role. And Mainoo, for some reason, looks off this season. He should be that player, but
he's having a sophomore.
I'm just feeling like right now the main problem is we got to be organized and not concede, and putting him there has helped for whatever reason. Because I think he releases some pressure playing out the back, having Bruno there with that range of pass and his touch. But that could be the reason. But for me, it's a little nervy. This is a big call from him, and I know Amram. He's a tough son of a gun, and he's not going to bring Garnacho back to start for sure. Even though this team probably, in my opinion, the best 11 would have him in it. Looking at booking the bookie, sir. What do we got here?
Heavy favorites. Minus 125 for United at home, plus 290 for the draw, plus 310 for the Cherries. On the road, sir. Give me the odds. I'm up.
Get this guy some Tums.
3-1 Manchester United. We win. United, good performance. We do enough. They're dangerous, but we hold on. We get a big win for Ruben Amorim. Sir, what is your score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 to United against the Cherries. So I think we do it easy, 2-1. Score prediction, sir. 3-1 would be a hell of a day out.
We'll see.
But
we'll see. Let's get that table. How's that table? You used to talk about it incessantly, and now I'm starting to make up a little ground.
I'm still confident. This guy got one connect. Okay, so the 55-31. That's a race. That's a solid gap.
That's a solid gap, but it's a real race now.
3 points for a correct result. I mean, I have plenty.
10 points for a correct result.
No, there's correct. 3. Correct result is 3. correct score is 10.
Yes.
So
that's how I catch up.
yes, you need a correct score here.
Or just a lot of threes, baby.
So regardless,
you saw how many games we're into the season, by the way, right?
26.
You know how many games we have left? We have like more than 26. So.
We're out of our first cup competition. But make no mistake, all of a sudden, big games pop up on the calendar. And this Bournemouth game is really important.
It is.
The City game was sort of almost just like a thriller. Like, hey, out of nowhere, we get this great win. Can we turn it into something? And Bournemouth is really where you're tested. A team that's in 6th, that's playing well, but we're Manchester United. They're coming to our house. We got to stick it to them, and we got to win. We need 3 points, not a draw, not excuses, not BS, not crappy defending. We need to grit it up and get a dub, and that's what United has to do, sir. And that's it. That is it for the podcast. We are the American Red Devils. We are for fans, by fans. Do you want to support us? Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Devils. Also check out our store, AmericanDevils.store. Grab some merchandise, some hats, some shirts, some scarves, etc. And also
holiday shopping, man. Get that holiday shopping in.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, search us on YouTube, subscribe, like, and comment below. Let us know what you think about the Bournemouth game. Is it as big of a deal as we are saying it is? Sir, give us our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Ooh, number 1, how you doing? How you doing? New York, New York, Chicago, Illinois, Houston, Texas, Brooklyn, New York, Los Angeles, California, Melbourne, Australia, Atlanta, Georgia, Dublin, Ireland, Philadelphia, PA, and last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Woo, there's holiday games coming thick and fast. Got the holidays right around the corner. Bournemouth, Cherries. It's going to be a big, tough match, sir. They are a strong team. They're a fast team. They're going to be coming at United. They got the Basque coach. Everything's coming up Basque these days in European football.
It's like the New Jersey of Europe.
It certainly is in many ways. Portugal also is a lot like Jersey. They don't tell them that. And that's a compliment, by the way. We're saying that as the finest compliments. If you went there, it looks more like here, actually.
They got a lot of drones over there.
Anyway, but it's going to be a huge match. Cannot wait for it. We're going to go, and right around the corner, sir, we're going to be at Old Trafford. I want to be there. I think United fans are going to find their voice. They're beginning to under this manager, so they're beginning to believe. Can we believe? It's coming, right?
Glory, glory, Man United.
Let's do it.